Today we are bottle hunting, but there's a historical twist. Come out today and we're going to be searching for bottles on a regular dump that we've come to before, but we're also going to go on a bit of an excursion, because today we are not just finding things, but we're going to find out about something when we visit a mansion that everyone claims was under a curse. Well, we'd better get started. Let's find some bottles and then we'll make our way to our mansion.
Right, let's play spot the bottle. Walking along, leaves everywhere. I can see this bottle here, which has got really nice font on it. Let's have a look what it says. I'm not quite sure what it did say because it's in such a bad condition, but very lovely script on that. And it is Manchester, Leeds, Bradford. But did you spot this one next door? It's a big one. Does it have anything on it? No, can't see anything on the top, and there's nothing on the bottom. And let's have a look at the colour. It's another green one. So let's have a little look what else is here. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's big. Ah, it's not so big anymore, just snapped. I think this calls for gloves. Right, now let's have a look. I'm not quite sure what it is. I thought it was a bell, but I don't know if it is. What do you reckon? Any ideas? And we've got a handle and a broken... Oh, that's a shame. I think that is green, is it? Let's have a look. Yep, it's a green broken bottle. And a chunk of something that is well past its best. What's that? No, just a bit of metal. Well, nothing else exciting. Right, there are one or two bottles here. Let's have a look. Got a cute one there. There's nothing written on it. And we got a square milk glass and metal something. We got the bottom of a jar and a Chipham's paste pot. No surprise there. Oh, that's a cute jar. I like that one. Nothing written on it. And a bottle with nothing written on it. And what are you passing me?
One, eh?
Oh, it's like a flask shape, isn't it? Almost.
Medicine bottle, too.
Yes, it does look very medicine-y, doesn't it? And let's have a look at this one. That's another plain one. Ooh, that's deep. And there's Just the very last of the label on that one. Shame, I'd love to know what was in that. Another tablespoons bottle?
A bent tablespoons bottle.
Oh yes, that is rather. It's been in the fire.
Yeah, and for that reason, I may take it with me.
Right.
So I do like damaged bottles that have been in the fire.
Yep, it's definitely wonky. With lots of moss inside.
And for that reason, I may leave it here, because if it's got
Yes,
an
it could be
ecosystem,
wildlife
I
in
wouldn't
there.
want to disturb it. So
Oh, put that back
I will
then.
put it back and leave the little animals to live out their life.
Look at this lovely bottle. Is it a dinky bottle? No.
I think it's a half a bottle. Tell you what, that's not a bad cut.
No, Martin VM Nelson. It looks really good. Just looks like a dinky bottle, but it's not. Now what could you use a dinky bottle like that for? What do you reckon?
Okay, what could I do with that?
You could turn it up the other way and use it on a plinth to store things in. You could put it that way up on a candle
I was
on a
thinking
plinth.
now, how would that look if we had something like that dish you just found, put a candle on the dish and stood that on the candle?
Would there be enough oxygen getting in?
I don't know.
We could try it, couldn't we?
I tell you what,
Go on, you tell me what.
what if we just pop over to the shed and I give it a go?
Good point. Come on then, let's go over.
Rightio. Well, here we are in the shed, folks, and here's that piece of bottle that Caroline discovered. I've cleaned it up a bit just to give it a little bit more of a shine and get some of the dirt out. Obviously, having such a large open end, getting inside to clean the bottle was less of a problem than usual. But the question is, can I trim this so that it's flat on the base? Now, the answer to that would have probably been a simple no with the equipment that I had. But, of course, as many of you know, I have a new piece of equipment, and this is it. Yes, this is a fantastic gift of Edie, and today I get to try it out as I clear a space on my desk, get it out of the box, get all my safety equipment on, and try and cut the bottle. But while I'm doing all that, I'm going to just send you on another trip now. Not back to the dump, no. I'm going to send you up to the studio, because so many people, since Caroline did her piece at the studio with the newspapers that we found when we were with Tom up on that Victorian dump, have been asking, please can you make a slot for Caroline? We love what you're doing in the shed. We love the history. We'd love to see Caroline as well. We know it's a lot of work, but we'd love it if you could introduce that into the show. Well, we will. And we're going to. Because now, Caroline's going to share with you an exceptionally good piece of craft. I'm very impressed. Very impressed. And as you know, I'm not easily impressed. Well, some say I am. But this is a cracker. A Christmas cracker. Not a Christmas cracker, but a cracking bit of craft for Christmas. So over to Caroline now while I set up in the shed. See you soon.
Hello and welcome to my studio, everyone. I'm going to be making something for Christmas today. Now, you could make these for any time of year, really, but I think because Christmas is coming, I'm going to loosely base it on a Christmas theme. Now, I've got this pipe. This is quite a whopper, this pipe bowl that we found in the river. It's rather grotty. There's almost like rust on it, but I'm going to turn this into something that we could use for display. So the clue is in this little bit here. I'm going to make a gnome tree hanger out of this pipe stem, pipe bowl. I keep calling it a pipe stem, I don't know why. So we'll set that to one side. I got some beads here, glass beads I think these are, or they could be plastic. They're just off an old broken necklace, some vintage jewellery that I had, and I've got some bits and pieces of ribbon and cottons and threads, and I've got some glittery sequins, some string. I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to use, but the first thing I need to do is to cut some very thin strips. Now, I've got this piece of lace here. That's about the thickness I'm heading for at the thickest. I don't want any thicker than that. Now, this is going to have some dangly bits coming from it, like a beard. So I don't want to overdo the length of the beard. I don't want to look too comical and unbelievable. Not that you'd really believe that there was a gnome with a head in a pipe hanging from your tree. So I think about there, and we can always trim it. So if we open that up and cut it, now we've got an idea of how long we want every piece. And I'll just roughly, you haven't got to be too careful, cut 3 pieces of this. Worth doing just for the fun of tearing things. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Right, so now we've got a bunch of bits and pieces. I've also got some things here. I'm going to put a little bit of thread in, I think, as well. I want to have a lot of variety of textures and colours. Even though they're all muted tones, I don't want just all cream or all beige. I want a bit of everything. This was just a knotted up piece of thread I had in a box of cheap threads. That looks so seamless. You didn't see me trying to untangle this mess to get those 3 out. So we got 3 of those, and I've got some beautiful ribbon with a butterfly on. Now I know it's not really very Christmassy seasonal, but I'm going to use some anyway because I love it. And I'll use any excuse to use butterflies. So we've got this little piece of, this is really interesting, it's like sequins but all in a row. So we'll use that. And I've got this string, I don't know, I think that may be a bit too thick and industrial, so I'm not going to put that in just yet. Let's see how we do with these. So now we're going to take them, I don't want them all 3 of anything together, so even though it's not really as accurate as it could be, just picking them up individually, it will help to mix them up a little bit. Right, so that doesn't look particularly special, does it? But we're now going to fold this in half. Shorter than that. And any pieces I cut off, it doesn't matter because I can use those again. So I'm going to go for about there, and I'm going to get a piece of string and tie off down about there. Doesn't matter, this hasn't got to be accurate because this is coming back off. Right, so now I'm going to get my glue gun heated up. And I'm going to move in my poor mat that I use for all the things that I don't want to use my nice mat for. So while that's warming up, I'm going to get myself a new glue stick and this. Now, what I'm going to do is these are going to go up in there, and in theory that will form a beard. So I'm going to cut that off there, and I think I'll tie those on there, and we might as well use those too. Now that one's very long, so we'll double that one up. That one's long, so we'll double that one up over this side. We need to tie it again now. Phew. Now these are going to be pushed up inside with some glue into the pipe bowl, but they're not all going to catch on the glue because it's so thick. I'm just going to put some blobs of glue in there. This doesn't look very pretty. And that's because it's not. It's just wodging it in to try to make sure as much of this as possible is in contact and glued to another bit of it. Now, I'm going to put glue all over the outside, and then quickly before the glue dries, which is going to be quite a challenge, plenty of glue because I don't want this to go wrong. I'm going to poke that up inside, push it up, push it near the front as well, and then while that's busy drying, clean the glue off your fingers. Now you don't have to get glue on your fingers, it's just something I do, it's not necessary to the method. And let's take off these bits of string. I'm going to use a pencil to poke this up. This is a far more sensible idea than using your fingers because I've just spent ages trying to wash all the bits of glue off my hand. I didn't realise, but apparently there's this little rubber thing like you can put on like a thimble. I mean, instead of sewing, it's for using glue guns. So I'm going to go straight away when I finish this video and order myself one because I burnt my finger. Right, so we've got this, which is a little bit tatty and scruffy, which is just what I wanted. Now we're going to trim it a bit because it's a little bit too tatty on the edges. I want it a bit tatty, like that. Now, this is going to be our gnome, but our gnome needs a nose. You can't have a gnome without a nose. So if I make a little gap in there and then out with the glue gun and this is a bead, so I don't want the hole showing. He's going to look silly with that. So I'm going to glue the side there. And I've just got a load of glue on my finger again. That's hot. Oh. Should put a disclaimer. If you're clumsy, do not use a glue gun. Pop that in there. Hold it in place until it dries. You can use a wooden bead would be just as good. If anything, it might look better, but I don't have any wooden beads, so I had to use what I've got. And that's the thing with like a rustic craft like this. You just use what you've got. You can use anything. More bits coming off this. So there we have our little gnome. Now that's going to be a bit movable, but it doesn't matter. It's because it's glued to the fabric rather than to the pipe bowl. Now the one problem you've got, let's move that glue stick out of the way and clear this up, is you can't hang that off your tree, can you? So I'm going to get a little bit of hanger made just from a little bit of jute. Now I've got this string, but that's just too thick. So I'm going to use this jute string and cut myself, oops, at angle. Let's have a look how long we want that angle. I'm going to fix it to the front of the hat there, and then we can alter exactly where the glue ends if he doesn't quite stand up properly, so, or stand up hang properly, I suppose. I find it very difficult to get the right word when I'm busy crafting. I'm always saying the wrong thing. So I'm going to glue the knot onto the front there, put it on, and I'm not too worried that there's glue showing because I'm going to put a bow on the front of that now. So while that's drying, we make a bow. And to make a bow, we'll want to cut off a short piece, just long enough to tie. And then, oh, get the glue everywhere. And wrap this around, stand up. Stand up. It's a very naughty glue gun. Wrap this around your hand about 5 or 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go for 6. There we go. Why not? Then get your piece that you cut, tie it in a double knot. 1. This is easier if you haven't got residual glue all over your fingers. 2, nice and tight. And now fluff it out a little bit. And then you'll see how this is hanging. Oh, look at that. First time. I had a horrible feeling it would hang like that or like that, but first time that's hanging in the perfect place. So now I'm going to glue this onto there. So a little bit more glue. Don't over glue it this time, she says as she blotches a big lump of glue. There. Hold it in place for a couple of seconds to make sure it sticks. There we've got ourselves a Christmas gnome hanger made from a pipe bowl. So this is a way, it's always difficult to display broken pipe bowls, but now I'm going to put this on my Christmas tree and keep it for Christmas every year. But you can make different colour ones, you can make different themed ones, you can put a flower on his head and he could be a summer gnome and you could hang him from your plant. So there is my gnome and I love him. I think he's so cute and so easy to make. So, we better get back to Phil.
Well, there we are, folks. Wasn't I right? Wasn't that an exceptionally cracking Christmas idea? If you did enjoy it, don't forget Caroline's got her art channel. You can follow on a lot of the other projects she does over there. But now, back in the shed, I've got this thing set up. Now, it's a tile cutter. Whether or not it's going to be a success with this particular job, we'll soon find out. It's got a diamond wheel. I've put the water in. I've powered it up. I'm ready to go. But, of course, safety equipment. So, here we go. Hat off. Glasses on. And ear defenders. There we go. Can't hear a thing you're saying now, folks. I'm sorry, can't hear you. And, most importantly, the gloves, which are designed to prevent cuts. So I get those on there and I'm ready to rock and roll. That certainly proved to be a success. What I had to do was I couldn't trim it as low as I wanted because as I was trying to trim low, little bits of glass were spinning off, and I decided to just go deeper and keep in the name, the V, the Martin and the V and the M, and take it at that height there. But we have our bottle. It's been cut, as you can see. Now, as I said, this is a tile cutter. It's not designed for cutting bottles, and therefore it's not recommended to do so. But it did the job for me. Now, next thing to do is to see how I can make use of it. And now, as the light is fading, I can show you the idea I decided to go with. Some of you may remember this bottle from last year that we made for our Christmas display. Well, take a look at this, folks, and let me know what you think. As I've taken the idea of a ship in a bottle, but I've put Santa in a bottle. Or better still, what can't be improved with a plinth? There we have it, folks. What a gorgeous plinth. Gold and red, beautiful Christmas colours, giving the appearance of almost a Christmas tree effect. There on the shelf, amongst all these glorious bottles. And of course, the teapots down below. And even more bottles up above. My first Christmas decoration for 2021 is officially in the Shed Museum, and it's there with Santa right in the middle. What do you think, folks? I don't think it can get any better. We've got Santa, we've got a cut down bottle, we've got pretty lights, and a plinth. Oh, it feels like the holidays. The light is faded in the shed, so we'd better get back over to the dump. But I hope you liked Santa in a bottle.
As these nettles are dying down, it's amazing what you can see. There's some bottles there. Is there anything written on any of these bottles? Oh yes, that one's got some writing on. Tetley's of Leeds. There'll be a Tetley's beer bottle. What's this here? There's another Tetley's of Leeds bottle. And that one's a green one. So is this a brown Tetley's of Leeds bottle? What's the chances? No, it's brown. It's wonky where it's been in a fire. And it's not a Tetley's bottle. Lots of broken bits in there. I can't even get my grabby thing in most of the time. What's that? No, that's broken. And let's turn around here. There's a little bottle there. Oh. Nothing written on him, and he was a screw top. No, wait a minute, is that a cork? Oh, seems to be a cork in a screw top bottle. Very unusual. Meat paste sandwiches, anyone? Here's a meat paste pot. Oh, is that? Oh, it's broken. Oh, is that a coin? Oh, we found a coin. Is it our first gold doubloon? Oh, it's cardboard. Look at that. Take it in the sunshine. What a disappointment. Phew. I've been walking up this little inlet or outlet, whatever you want to call it, a little stream, looking for something that you might want to see, and there are lots of broken bits of pottery. But I've looked up and I've seen that. Now it's a circle of glass. Is it a marble? Or is it a bottle stopper? So I thought before I get my feet wet, I'd call you all over to have a look. So come on, pop your wellies on. We're going in. Oh, it's not too deep. Ah, I think it's a bottle stopper. Let's have a look. Oh yes. Is it whole? Yep. Oh, how lovely. There's nothing written on it, but it's a plain glass bottle stopper and it is aqua. Very nice. Now that's interesting. We keep finding a lot of this terracotta that's glazed with yellow, but we've never actually seen the top. A rim and it's actually got a brown line around it. So that's nice to know when we find the next one what it looked like originally. That column was supporting the sewer pipe. It's fallen over, probably from the bottle diggers. And now it's broken the sewer pipe, or the storm drain. Oh dear.
And the beauty of this particular location is while we are on a dump, we are able to enjoy the glorious, relaxing view of the river. Because folks, what you can't always see just behind us is that view, which is stunning and amazing. And I've been reliably informed by two of our friends in this part of the world, Lynn Bean and Mr. Tom Burley, that they've had the joy of witnessing kingfishers on this stretch of river, which is absolutely amazing. As we always say, whether we find things or not, we'll always win when we're in a location like this. Look what I've got. I know it's blue and white. I know it's willow pattern, but there's the characters on the bridge, and I'll always share a piece of willow pattern when it's got the characters on it. Again, this may be blue and white, but for those who like their colours a bit more vibrant, have a look on the other side.
Oh, look at that.
Now then, isn't that
very colourful?
Right.
I bet that was beautiful when it was whole. It's a nice shape now, isn't it? You could embed it into a wall or something.
Yes, a bit too big for plain or patterned. And
Yes.
the clues on the back anyway. As well as all the bottles, which obviously was our main intent, we do find domestic ware. A nice little piece. And would you like a cup of tea, dear?
Oh yes, please.
Normally I'm the teapot king in this part of the country, but the teapots are few and far between. Seen the odd spout and a broken handle, but I found my cup.
Oh,
so all I
there you
need
go.
now is the flask, and I could fill it up.
Oh, you need the flask and a lot of cleaning.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Hygiene, it's the name of the game. But of course, all of this reminds us of the fact that we're in an area that has been lived in for a long time. You know, with us in Wales, it was mainly the mines. Now, they had mines up here, but the big thing here was the wool and the textile industry. The mills, the chimneys still can be seen along the horizon. And of course, that meant people working, as well as those who owned those premises as well. So there are many small and terraced houses, but there's one property not far from you. In fact, there's one property that is no longer not far from you, because it's a pile of rubble in the woods. But the history is fascinating. So let's pop over to the lodge, the North Lodge of that famous mansion. So here we are at the North Lodge of what used to guard the entrance to Millersfield Mansion, and it was a Victorian mansion. Incredible thing. Titus Salt Jr. built it between 1871 and 73. It was vast and it was popular. It was impressive. They've made their fortune as a family in the wool trade and in the work of this region, and they invested it all in this luxurious property. There is no more. All that's left is this building, and you could have rented this. It was advertised last year as for rent for £1,300 a month. Not bad for a des res. But lying in the ground are just the rubble in amongst the trees of what was once a vast, massive, luxurious, palatial almost property, where the Prince of Wales, eventually to be King Edward VII, visited in 1887. But it was in 1887 that Titus met his demise. He was in the billiard room in his mansion when his heart failed and he died. And this was the beginning of bad times for the manor. Owner after owner had troubles. One after the next, two of the owners lost their wives, one within 2 weeks of moving in, the other in less than a year. They themselves died quite soon after taking up residence. In fact, the stories and the tales of misfortune for those who lived at this palatial house got so bad that by the time it went up for sale in 1930, no one would buy it. That's how superstitious people were and how afraid they were of what they thought was a curse on the property. Although people died of natural causes, as they always do, it's the power of rumour. So the building was left. All the possessions were taken out and it was left empty. It was actually used for target practice by the Home Guard during the war. And then in the 1950s, it was taken down and left as rubble on the ground. Stones reused elsewhere, and the mansion is no more. But the story still told of the mansion that once stood there where the trees are today. A mansion which seems brought little good fortune to those who lived in it. That's the story of Miller's Field. And now here we are at the back gate. At the front there was no entrance because obviously it's a private residence now, but here we are standing on the bridge over the brook that will lead all the way up this gorgeous pathway through the chestnut trees. And we're going to walk the half-hour walk in the hope of finding the ruins of that mansion. We've made it, folks. We've walked for about half an hour and we've arrived at the ruins. And I have to say, right off from the start, I found a brick.
Look at that, it's a cliff brick.
And that brick was part of this amazing complex that once stood here, that brought so much misfortune to those who lived here, and sadly was just left, abandoned. No one wanted it. Forget it. No sale. Knock it down. It's gone. But as we look around, I have noticed something extremely interesting just behind me.
Ooh, let's go have a look. Can you see, it's like a vaulted ceiling going down. Ooh, that looks a bit spooky.
No, I believe that's the cellar.
Right.
So, I have my torch, which a kind viewer purchased for us, and I have my carrier bag, because it isn't really a backpack.
Falling over.
But I have my hat appendage.
Oh, there we go, a man with an appendage on his hat.
Okay, everything's going wrong. Third battery just run out. We're on to GoPro 7, the spare camera, which I hope you can hear me on because we've been using it for underwater footage. So, here's the cellar.
Ooh, are you going in the cellar?
I got my hat on, got my light on.
I'm not coming with you.
And I've got my torch. Here we go, folks. Be brave. Unlike Caroline, who said, you can go, dear. Now then, there we go. Have a little look in there. Wow. An amazing, look at the arched roof, the brickwork. Should we go down in? There we have the stonework there, all the way around. Right, let's watch where we're going here. Oh, it's pitch black without the torch. And I think the battery's failing on my headlamp, so lucky I got my hand torch. As long as that doesn't go out as well. There you go. Probably a flue there that used to have a boiler here. Cooking range or something perhaps. Some more bricks there. Is that a different one? Yeah, that is. That's a different brick. That one's coming out with us. Right. Whoa. It's heavy going down here, isn't it? You all alright, folks? Oh, look. There's the underside of the stairs. See? There's stairs going up that would have been in the house, which obviously now above here is just trees and greenery. And then what's through here? There's another room there. Masonry that's fallen down. It's so intriguing to realise that this place is just gone, demolished, invisible. But then below ground, it's still here. It still exists. What an incredible find. An archway going through there, and there's some light there. Look at the size on some of these huge stones that were part of the building. This massive mansion. They said it was just vast. Yet it brought so much sadness to so many people between its building in 1873 and the last owner moving in 1923. 50 years later, so much heartache, so much sorrow was associated with this place, to the point that when they tried to sell it in 1930, no one wanted to know. Now, if you don't like spiders, look away now. Because that's who lives here now, folks. And he doesn't seem a bit troubled by any rumours of this place. Well, we'd better make our way back in case Caroline's starting to worry. In fact, I'm not that happy down here, to be honest. Whoops. Just for you to know that I'm not making it up, I'm going to switch off the light. And then that's with my cap lamp on. And that's with my cap lamp off, folks. And just over there you can see the daylight of where we're going to get out. I think I'll put the light back on, because that didn't feel very nice. Gosh, it's like being back underground. Come on, let's get back to Caroline and let's show her my brick. Yay! Oh, I can see the light. Come on, folks, one last push. Whoops. Hello. Dark. It's dark. It is. Oh. Yes, it's fantastic. 2 bricks. Yeah.
What's that say?
J-U-W?
Yeah, it could be.
A cliff.
Very nice. So what was it, your verdict of the cellar?
Incredible from the point of view that it appears there's nothing left.
Right.
And you go down there and you can see the shape and the form and the place where perhaps there was a stove once and where people worked and prepared. It brought back that sort of sense of it being a house. But also we met the new resident.
All right.
He was that big and black and he had 8 legs.
Ooh, scary.
The spiders now live here. Oh, it's raining.
It is. It's amazing to see the bits of architecture that are still here. You've got these carvings, a couple of big blocks like this, lots of bricks, lots of dressed stone. Now dressed stone is just stone that's been shaped. Instead of being rough stone, you can see the marks there where it was made nice and square, very posh. More of these stones here for like around windows, that sort of thing. Look at the size on that one. Let's go have a look at that. And I'll put my hand on it for perspective. Oops, I've fallen over. That is enormous. And it looks like there is a fireplace. You can see the keystone along the top, but it could have been a doorway, I suppose. And then if we look up here, there's the angler bricks that went around a doorway. So many interesting things to look at. You could spend hours here if you're into ruins. Look at this arch. I would imagine that many years ago you could actually see the bottom of that arch. It was a doorway, but it's not anymore. But if we look carefully on the side there, you can see the upside down brick, and it's cliff brick, which is one of the bricks that Phil found. Look at that tree. That wasn't planted there originally, and the roots are slowly taking over the walls of the house. If we come around here, there you can see a big stone lintel and encased in the roots of the tree. Look at that. Oh, should we go over there? Come on then. More carved stone, and down there lots of carved stone and some walls. We go on around here. Look down there. I would imagine that's probably part of the cellar.
I think it is.
See if I can get down. Whoops.
Actually, I think this is what we all saw. We were just there.
Ah, right, and you could see some
we
light,
got
could
here,
you?
and we looked through and we could see daylight, but we
Right.
couldn't get into it.
Ah,
We were
that's why.
We were under those trees there,
Yeah.
looking out.
Look at all these big stones here too. Wow. Another cliff brick.
Slightly nicer cliff brick than my cliff brick, so I'm going to switch
Ooh.
them over. That one, I think, possibly came out of that wall you were just looking at.
Ah, could well have done.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to try climbing up there now. I think we'll go this way, it's easier. Bit rough underfoot, sorry. This is a very uneven surface to be walking on. I just hope we don't suddenly disappear into the cellar. So what's around here? Oh, look at this. More massive stones. Look at the stonework that's been done on that. All that chiselling, and that is a perfect size and shape to fit into or over something. What is it? That's the slot, and the tab would have gone in if you use the same terms as you do with like cardboard. I don't know what the terms are when it comes to stones. And you've got more big stones here. This must have been an amazing house to live in. The trees have grown up now, but if you look around, the view over there would have been amazing, right over Bingley, Shipton?
Shipley and Bingley, yes.
Shipley and Bingley. Unfortunately now you can't see much. It's too overgrown.
The incredible thing is that Riddlesden Hall, which is not far from here, original hall was built in the sort of 14th, 15th century. Then it was modified in the 1600s. This was built just 150 years ago. But it's been left abandoned for the last 90 years. So when you look, that Riddlesden Hall is still open to the public, people go in and view it, and this is all gone. And simply because people got the sense that the building was in some way responsible for the fate of the people who lived within the building. Now, we may think that's strange, we may think that's not logical, but it's the power of suggestion. Nobody bought the house, so the house just got tucked down. But you mentioned earlier on about the slots, possibly taking wood into account. Could be mortise and tenon. That's what it would be in wood. There may be a different term in masonry though.
Right. Let's have a look at this tree. Ooh, look at that. Like lots of noses sticking out. And that looks like a dolphin's head.
Oh yeah. This looks lovely.
Oh, look at that stone. Now that's a bit of posh, isn't it?
That's a proper bit of
mason's
work, isn't it?
Look at that. I wonder what that was off. Probably over the main front door, something like that. Very grand entrance to show off to your friends. Oh, and if we look over here, there we go. There's a little bit of shaping on the bottom of that stone too. If we go around this side, you can see there. And then back down to the hole that we looked in with the gap to the cellar.
Well, we've had a fantastic time. We've found bottles, we've enjoyed our experience of searching and hunting, but then we find ourselves on a diversion on top of a hill, and what do I find? Not a brick, 2 bricks, and one of them in a cellar. What more could you want? If you've enjoyed this journey with us from a bottle dump to a mansion and underground, then please give us a thumbs up.
Ding, ding, ding.
And of course, till the next time, have fun. Bye.
Bye.